How's it going, everybody? This is Darrin with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson, and today I've got three fun and not too terribly difficult riffs to play for you from Judas Priest. Right now, GuitarControl.com is giving away this really cool, useful free chord chart. There is a link down in the description where you can get yours. It's in PDF format and just has every chord you could ever need, all neatly compiled into one sheet. So you can download it, you can print it off, you can put it where you practice, put a copy in your gig bag, so in whatever situation you're in, any chord you might ever need at a glance, and it's a free download. So be sure to click on the link in the description for the tabs, and let's get close up and take a look at these. Alright, so the first one to look at is the riff from Nightcrawler. So this one isn't too terribly bad to play. It just uses this fifth power chord shape that you probably already used a whole bunch of times, so we're doing E5 here first, so we're starting on the first finger is on the 7th fret of the A string, and then my third finger is on the 9th fret of the D string, and my fourth finger is on the 9th fret of the G string. So this is all just made up of 8th notes, so we just start off by playing A, D, G, 1 and 2, and then on the end of 2, you're going to take your middle finger and you're going to reach up and you're going to pick up the 8th fret of the A string and then take it back off so it's back on the 7th fret, and then the D and G string again. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then on the end of 4 we reach down. You want to keep these two fingers here, but we're going to reach down to the 5th fret of the A string on the end of 4 and then bring it back up to the 7th fret. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now on the second measure 1 and now we're going to take this shape, we're just going to move it down a set of strings. So now I'm on the 7th fret of the low E string with my first finger, and the 9th fret of the A string with my third finger. So we pick this 2 and then we're going to take that shape and move it back up to the A and the D string, but down a whole step. So now I'm on the first finger's on the 5th fret of the A string and third finger's on the 7th fret of the D string, and third finger is on the 7th fret of the G string. So and then when it goes to the third verse, the third and the fourth verse are the same as the second and third, and then that just repeats a bunch of times. So we got so next we're going to look at the riff from Electric Eye. So this one is just made up of single notes. And it's all 8th notes for the most part, but you can see here on the beginning of it that we're resting on the downbeat of 1, so we actually start playing on the and of 1, which is going to seem kind of strange, but then when you go through the rest of it you'll see why, because the very last note, the and of 4, is tied to the downbeat of 1 of the next measure. So we've got the open low E string, and then to the 7th fret of the A string, my first finger, open low E, now to the 9th fret, open, now to the 10th fret, and then we're going to take our middle finger and reach up and grab the 8th fret of the low E string, and this is on the and of 4, and that's tied to the downbeat of 1 of the next measure. Okay, so now the second measure is the same as the first, except the last note, instead of being the 8th fret, it's going to be the 5th fret. So we got. Alright, so we're hitting that 5 on the and of 4, and now on the next measure, this is tied to the downbeat of 1, and then on the and of 1, open 7, the open 7, open 9, 10 thing again, and then this time we end on the 7th fret, and then again it's tied to 1, downbeat of 1, and then and 2, we go to the 9th fret on the A string, back to the low E. Now we're going to go 10, 9, 7, and then the whole thing would repeat. And then the last one we're going to look at is the riff from Hellbent for Leather, and in my opinion this is the hardest one out of these three, and this is also one of the hardest, for me anyway, riffs from Judas Priest. The timing on this is just really unusual, and I've always struggled with really being able to play it consistently the same way. So we're going to break it down. So here we start off, we're just playing just playing some single notes. So we've got the open low, or the open A string on the downbeat of 1, and then on the and of 1, we're on the 9th fret of the 7th fret of the D string. We want to use your 3rd finger. So we've got 1 and then we've got 3 more open A strings, but it's an 8th note and then 2 16th notes. So it's like long, short, short. So that's one of the things that really throws me off, is trying to get that da 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 in there. So open 7, 3 opens, back to 7, 2 opens is 8th notes again, like the first one. Now we're going to go down to the 5th fret, and we're going to bar our first finger across the 5th fret of the D and the G string. So this is on the and of 4 of the first measure. And then we go on the downbeat of the second measure, the open A string again, and now we're going to move this up to the 7th fret. You could do it with your first finger and then your 3rd, or move your first finger up. Either way is good, but it's what's coming next. This actually might be the best way to do it, so that way your hand's already in the position. So you got. Okay, so that's 1 and then on the downbeat of 2 for 2 and. Now we're going to take our 3rd finger and we're going to bar the 10th fret of the D and G string, and our first finger and bar the 7th fret of the D and G string, and we're going to hit this where we're on the 10th fret. We're going to hit that and pull off to the 7. So that's 3 and 4 and. So we pick, pull to 7. Now we shift our hand position, so now we're going to pull 7 to 5. So this is kind of challenging. If you're a beginner, that can be a little, to get those pull-offs on 2 strings simultaneous can be a little challenging. All right, so then so that's the first 2 measures. Then our 3rd measure is the exact same as the first. The 3rd measure, the last part of that 3rd measure, we've got and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So in the and of 2, we're going to move it down to the 4th fret, and then we're going to do a C5 power chord. So 3rd fret of the A string with your first finger, and then the 5th fret of the D and or G string with your 3rd finger. And this is 3, and then move it down a half step for 4, for B5. And then the whole thing just repeats. So that part is kind of tricky because it's actually 2 guitars. The one is doing the, well, the other one does the, and it rings out. But if you're playing it by yourself, this is just kind of a way to kind of meld those 2 things together. So like I said, that's just kind of a way that you can kind of meld the 2 parts together to kind of fill it out if you're playing it all by yourself. All right, so there you have it, 3 fun, not too terribly difficult riffs to play from Judas Priest. So if you like this lesson, be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you have any questions about this or other guitar-related topics. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we upload throughout the week. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.